Hello, amazing students, my lovely algebra students. I hope that you are well. Happy semester 2 to you. Today's video is going to be about kind of restarting. It could be that you already have a great notebook that you're using and that you're already signed up for Big Ideas Math. But there are some of you out there who might be thinking, I'd really like to do better this semester. How can I do that? And I can tell you there's two big things you can do. Keep a good notebook and make sure you are in Big Ideas Math. So your assignment, this video is going to be about that, and your assignment is to start making a good notebook, getting it set up, and then also getting signed up for Big Ideas Math. So if you already have those things done, then you don't have to watch this video. But if you are ready to keep a good notebook and know how to sign up on our assignment platform, then please keep watching, and I'll try to keep it short. So the first question I want to ask you is, can you remember everything that you've been taught? The answer is probably no. And if not, how long after learning something do you usually forget it? Now, when it comes to math, it's probably pretty fast. Humans forget things all the time, and what we have to do in order to remember things is to do them more. You know how you first put in a password and then you had to look it up maybe the second time, or you had to write it down, and then the third time and the fourth, but then by the time you were, pushing that password in every once in a while, for a while, you found out that you had it memorized, because that's what the brain does. It needs repetition in order to remember things. And so what that is based on, the brain works this way. It has to have repetition in order to create memory. So today we're going to try to set up an interactive notebook. We're going to discuss why we would take in what I call interactive notes, and we're going to hopefully get that notebook set up. So let's do it. So what you're seeing here is what's called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve and review cycle, and this is some work that was done on the brain and how memory works. And what you're seeing is, you can see some percentages over there on the right side. This is how much is being remembered. And then across the bottom is the number of days that somebody could remember something. And you'll see at the top, right up there at the 100%, the orange words, first learned. And what that's telling us is that when you first learned something, you could remember it. But then you'll see a blue curve that kind of slopes down, and right over day 1, you can look and see that you've already lost about 20% of what you learned the day before. And if you keep going down that curve where it gets gray, by the time you get to day 3, if you've only looked at information once, you've lost about 40% of that information in a very short amount of time by day 3. However, you'll also notice above day 1 a dashed blue line going back up to 100%, and that's marked as reviewed. That means that you can break that curve going down and pop your remembering back up to 100% by looking at the information again. And then you'll notice that there's another blue curve that comes down from there. You still do forget things over time, but if you continue that curve and you never review again, now you can remember things only after one repetition up to about a week. But if you review it again, say on day 3, you can pop that memory right back up to 100% again, and then that curve, as you forget, gets longer and longer, and you remember things longer. And if you review it again for a third time, that curve gets pretty flat. You remember things for a long time. And that's just the way we remember stuff, is by repeating it and making sure that the more repetition and the proper type of repetition helps us remember. And that is so important in a math class. Because to be truly successful in a math class, it's going to take remembering stuff. And to remember stuff, we need to be organized. Organization virtually guarantees that you're going to be able to look up any information that you do forget, and you're going to forget a lot less. And so there's this way of taking notes called interactive notes that helps do this. It helps organize the information that you're going to get, and it gives you an opportunity to revisit that information over and over again so that you forget a whole lot less. we're going to hopefully get started on this notebook together, but these notebooks are yours, and so you can make them your own. They don't have to be exactly as I'm telling you, but what I'm telling you is a really great way, and I have seen students raise an entire letter grade just by deciding that, okay, I'm going to take notes like Miss Waite asks, and they found themselves doing a whole lot better. The two things that you'll need is a notebook and a writing utensil. I like spiral notebooks, but whatever notebook you have will work. And if you need a notebook, let me know. I'd be happy to deliver one to your front porch, one or two or three or however many you need. So we're going to take a lot of notes. Hopefully you've been watching these videos all semester one and you understand that writing stuff down can be very helpful. We're going to use these interactive notes, and they're based on a way of taking notes called Cornell notes. There's a video on this assignment, another video called Taking Notes the Cornell Way or something like that. I'm going to encourage you to take a look at that video and see how Cornell notes work, and that'll help give you some ideas about how to use the kind of notes that we're going to take. So what this is what a note page looks like. When you start a new page of notes, you're going to divide that page up into several sections. The top part, which is just that top margin of your notes, you're going to have a place for the topic, and I'll give you a topic every day we do a video, and then I'll also give you an essential question, and you should write both of those at the top of the page. Down at the bottom, about 6 lines up from the bottom, you're going to draw another line all the way from one side of the page to the other horizontally, and you're going to end up leaving space for yourself to write a summary about what's on that page. That's something that happens later. Then from the top line down to that line that you just drew about 6 lines up from the bottom, you're going to draw a vertical line about a third of the way in from the left side of the paper. This is going to divide your paper into a small column where you're going to write yourself some questions. We'll talk about that in a minute. But where you take notes is in that big section in the middle. That's where you actually take notes during class. So this is what it looks like when you set it up. And when I say, you know, set up a note page, this is what I mean. The other really important part about setting up a good notebook is to have a table of contents. You want to be able to know what topic you're looking up when you forget something. And having a table of contents makes it so that all you have to do is look for that topic, find the page that it's on, and go right to it instead of having to dig through your backpack to find the notes or, like, you know, search through every single page of notes and waste a bunch of time. This keeps you efficient, able to look up things quickly. So there's a few different ways that you could set up a table of contents, and I'm just going to show you a few pictures here. Here's one way where, you know, it's just pretty simple. Across the top it says table of contents, and then title is your topics, and then every time you add a topic, you add it into the table of contents along with its page number. Here's another way you could do it. Oops, let's get rid of this one out of the way. Here's another way you can do it. Doesn't have to be fancy. There's nothing really, you know, terrifically fancy about any of this. And then here's another way of doing it. This one's a little bit kind of cute, but you can make it your own. As long as you know that it's your table of contents and that you are creating that topic list as you go and keeping track of the page numbers, you're going to have a great table of contents to help you organize your notebook. So once you have your table, okay, let me start again. Take your notebook cover and open it up. And on that first page, write table of contents across the top. That's where you're going to start your table of contents. And then you're going to turn one page. And then you're going to turn another page. And so what you've created for yourself is a couple of pages at the beginning of your notebook for your table of contents to grow. Because every time we do a video or a lesson, you're going to add to that table of contents. And so you want room for it to grow into. Now on that 5th page, so the first page that says table of contents is 1 and 2, and then the blank page is 3 and 4. On the bottom right hand corner of that 5th page, you're going to write a number 1. this is where you're going to start your first set of notes. Now again, if you've already set up a notebook, you can just continue that notebook. You don't need to start all over again with a new one, but some people like to start a semester 2 notebook, so that's how you could do it. Then you can turn pages and number your pages. And I suggest only numbering up to about the first 10 or so pages, because you might find that your numbering system works well at first, but then you want to make some adjustments. So if you number the entire notebook, then you might have to erase a bunch. So you can go ahead and do that. So this is what a complete set of notes on a note page looks like. When you start the video in order to learn a lesson, the stuff that's in green is what you're going to put up at the top of the page. And you don't have to color code yours. I just color coded this so you'd know what I was talking about. At the top of the page, you'll see a topic and an essential question. That's what goes at the top of the page, the stuff that's in green. And then during class, the notes get taken. That's what you see in pink. This person filled out these notes in that big section, and then that was it for the day. And then the next day, before they learned another lesson, they went back to this page and they filled in the questions, the ones that are in yellow. Now these questions are questions that can be answered by your notes. So it's almost like you're working backwards from your notes to ask yourself questions about them. So you'll notice in these notes it says 3 basic types of graphs: bar graphs, pie charts, line graphs. Well, what this person did was took that chunk of notes and wrote a question over here in yellow: can any data be used on 3 graphs? And that's answerable by the notes that are just to the right of it. And then a little further down they have another question about something in the notes, and then a little further down they have a little more. You can write as many or as few questions that you want, but the idea is that it's getting your eyes on your notes again and helping you think about your notes in a different way by kind of pulling questions out. Now, then, that's another day. So first day, topic and notes, topic, essential question, and notes themselves. Second day, writing questions about your notes. And then on the third day, or maybe just before a test, or whenever it's convenient for you, that's when you write your summary, and that's what you see down at the bottom of the page. The summary is the answer to the essential question. So the essential question at the top of the page are, what are the differences between line, bar, and pie graphs? And then down at the bottom is the answer. Line, bar, and pie graphs illustrate ways to clearly show blah, 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 blah. Getting your eyes on these notes, taking the notes in the first place, writing the questions on another day, writing the summary on another day gives you 3 interactions with your notes. And if you go back to thinking about that forgetting curve we talked about, you're really starting to remember what's in these notes. You're really starting to learn by repeating this information. You can get a 4th look at your notes by covering up the notes themselves and quizzing yourself on the questions that you wrote. That's another way of interacting with these notes. It's a great way to look at note pages a bunch of times. No longer are you going to be the kind of person who takes notes and then never looks at them again, because that doesn't really help you learn anything. So here's another look at a different way that somebody has taken notes in the past. Still has the topic and the essential question as at the top. Still has a big place to take notes, but this person has a place for questions, and then right below that in that same column, a place for a summary. I don't care how you set it up, as long as you have a place to do all of that so you can get the most out of your notes and learn the most from your notes. Here's another set of notes that someone took. They kind of expanded on this and took notes on the right side and did their essential question and summary and stuff like that on the left, plus a really cute picture of a 3-eyed fish. Again, these notes are meant to be helpful to you. They don't have to be exactly like I suggest, but as long as they have all the elements, then it's going to be a great set of notes and be very helpful for you. All right. So your assignment today is to set up your notebook. Again, if you've already done that, great. The next thing we're going to talk about is signing up for Big Ideas Math, because that's your second assignment today. So here we go with that. What you're going to do to sign up for Big Ideas Math is that you are going to go to the Google, and in the Google search bar, you will type in Big Ideas Math and see how it comes up for me automatically, because I type it in all the time. I'm going to click it. And you're looking for bigideasmath.com. Click it. and you'll see this page right here. This is the page that you'll see when you're going to your assignments, and you're going to need a username and a password. That's what you're going to set up now. So if you're brand new to Big Ideas Math, or if you have not set up Big Ideas Math for this algebra class this year, you're going to click on New to Big Ideas Math, and you're going to be given an opportunity to enter an access code. Your access code for this class looks like this. Oop, there it is. This is the access code you want, DREK dash blah, blah, blah. So that's what it looks like. That's what you're going to enter into that field. It might be worth it to pause this video and write that down. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that login page, and I'm going to enter that code. I've already got it copied and pasted, and then you click Next. And when you do that, you're going to be brought to this page, and you're going to enter your first name. Oh, there it is. That's my first name, Laura. And then my last name, Wait. And then I'm going to enter a password. Please don't forget your password. And then I'm going to confirm my password. And then I'm going to enter my student ID. Now, honestly, you can put any number you want. And in fact, I kind of don't want you to put your actual student ID in, because what happens when people put their actual student ID in is that they find that they can't move on in the sign-up process because that ID is already in use from somewhere else, somebody with the same ID. You can literally put any number you want in. If you put a number in and you can't get any further in this process, just come back to this page and enter a different number. Just make it up until it works. You can see a couple of numbers that I've used in the past are in this little drop-down menu. I'm literally going to make up a number. Let's see, 76854. See if it works. I'm going to click Next. Nothing will be tracked by your student ID, so you don't have to worry about forgetting that number. Just enter anything. And it's thinking about it here. Oh, good, it worked. So this means that that number was accepted. Again, if your number wasn't accepted, you'll just try a different one until you get to this screen. Now this is the username that you have to remember. The password that you put in and this username are how you're going to log in. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to click Log In. I'm going to put that username here, and then I'm going to enter my password and log in. Alrighty. So the first page, when you know you've been successful, is that you'll see the class that you're in. Here's our class, and your name up in the top right corner. That will mean that you're all signed up. Now these resources are great, and I encourage you to click around, but what you really want to know is where you find your assignments. That's going to be under this tab. Now notice that there's no assignments to show. That's because I'm new to signing up, and what I need to do is let Miss Wait know that I signed up so she can open up the assignments to me. So that would be an email. If you sign up for Big Ideas Math at this point, send me an email when you're done, and I will open up your assignments to you. And I have to do that in order for you to see the assignments, so please do it. Those assignments will start showing up, and if they are upcoming, in other words, they're not due yet, they'll be under this tab. And if they are overdue, you'd click that one and you'd see a list of assignments. You can still do the assignments on the overdue tab. That's fine. It's just organized by what is coming up and what has passed. All right, that's all there is to signing up for Big Ideas Math and setting up a notebook, my dears. I'm so glad that we get to go through this journey together. I hope I can be helpful to you. I hope that setting up a notebook helps you. Please do get signed up for Big Ideas Math if you haven't already, and have a wonderful day. I will see you sometime.